My 20s were very difficult. Going to Joburg to visit and living in Joburg are two completely different things. It's a story, another story. Like, you use those things to ridicule me to other people. Hey, being driven like crazy, bro. Production is hard to get into. Normal clients are actually what make sure you have money all throughout the month.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, just got in town.
Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. welcome. If you're new here, my name is Sneh. I'm a full-time makeup artist and hairstylist living in Cape Town. And basically this is a digital diary where I document my life and the things that happen to me and the progress of my life, the good and the bad. And this is basically my YouTube family. We are gradually growing, we are getting bigger and bigger, and we are gonna get bigger and bigger. But yeah, if you're watching for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe and please join the family. Don't forget to watch all my other videos. I have vlogs, I have sit downs, I have story time. I need to work on the story times, that's for sure. But yeah, I just have a whole lot of content that basically focuses on my life. So yeah, and to my returning subbies, my family, thank you guys so much for your support, the continuous outpouring of just positivity. I love that I have this community. I can go on and on and on, but I love you guys so much. I really appreciate your support, and I'm really going to try and continue to put in more effort to think of creative ideas and things that I can do to make this channel more fun and more interesting. What motivated or what sparked the idea of having this video is that I've recently been getting a lot of messages and DMs from people on my channel and people that have watched my YouTube, just basically letting me know how they relate so much to the things that I speak about on my videos and the things that I go through. And for me, it's very important to show that life isn't just all good and spa dates and drink dates and, you know, just goodness and loveliness and vibes, you know. So when I'm going through stuff, I like to include that as well in my vlogs, because I feel like social media or internet, I guess, wants people to believe that everything is just perfect in their lives. And I guess some people prefer that and want that for their own aesthetics, and that's what they prefer. But for me, I feel like I wouldn't be able to sustain that, because sometimes I'm really, really down and sometimes I'm in a really, really great place. But if I'm constantly only showing positive things and unrealistic things, I'm never going to be able to feel grateful for the good things that actually happen, because I'm constantly wanting to look like I have things together. So I just got a lot of messages of people just relating, and I think it's so reassuring to me to know, because sometimes you sort of get warped, you know, and you don't really know what's reality and what's not, and you actually start to feel like, damn, everyone's life is really going well and maybe it's just mine. But we're all human beings and we're all going through ups and downs, and it's normal, you know. So yeah, that is basically what just motivated me to make this video. And also for the new people that are joining my channel that don't really know me, this is also just a catch-up fast crash course of who I am, where I'm coming from, what my situation is, where I'm at, you know. So yeah, let's get into the video. The most common question that I get is how I was able to change things. So I have spoken in bits and pieces about my upbringing, the first part of my adult life. So I'm 30 now, and I think that I've gone through, my 20s were very difficult. I think I moved out of home too young. I was 20 when I moved to Joburg, I think turning 21. And it was very difficult because I was completely on my own and I had to hustle for myself. I specifically remember that I moved to Joburg on a 10 p.m. bus. I got to Joburg in the morning. It was either 10 or 11. Got to Joburg in the morning, and I literally just had my clothes in a plastic bag, and I had about 250 rand in my account at the time. And because I didn't want to let people know my situation, I sort of just really minimized or didn't speak completely about why I came to Joburg. I just sort of was like, yeah, I'm here for work, you know, da 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 da. So my starting point wasn't really, you know, a great place to start, but I always knew what I wanted. I always knew what the person that I wanted to be. I always knew where I want to be. But at some point, I think I gave up on that, and I just resigned myself to the fact that I failed. And I think life really turned around for me when I took a leap and I tried to actually fight for my life. The first step I think I went through when I started to change myself and to change my life was rebranding and refocusing, you know, from starting from ground zero. There was a point where living in Joburg wasn't what it looked like it would be. Going to Joburg to visit and living in Joburg are two completely different things. And I think when I lived there, the reality set in and I was like, damn. It is very hard having a job that is not a very stable income. You know, being an entry-level makeup artist at the time, you're charging about 600, 650 for a makeup appointment. And even if you're sharing a 2-bedroom, for example, back then I was paying 3.5 for the room that I was staying in, and the other person was paying 3.5. So even that is sort of hard to get to when you're only earning 650 for bookings, and then they sort of Uber you there and back from your bookings, you know, because you're really just trying to make a living with what you have. So I didn't have a lot of money to do things for myself or things for fun or things to upgrade myself or make myself pretty or whatever, you know. So my main thing when I started to make an actual income was that I started to rebrand myself. I always wanted to be like my sister. My sister, Da, you guys have seen her in my previous vlogs before. Well, some people have seen her. But she was my older sister and I idolized her growing up, you know, because she was always a lady. She was soft-spoken. She always smelled good. She would always like borrow me her things. She always had the best clothes. She had the best makeup. She had the best life. You know, she'd come back from her parties and tell me what happened. And I'd just be like, you know, she was like the person that I wanted to be. So even when I grew up and I moved to Joburg, at some points we sort of separated and we weren't really on speaking terms. But when we would hang out, it was so crazy because actually we lived in Joburg at the same time, but we never really had any type of relationship when we both lived there. It was only when she moved and she would sort of come to Joburg to do her own things, and that's when we rekindled our friendship rather than our sisterhood, because we were always sisters. So even then, like when she'd come to Joburg and she'd be like, oh, let's meet up for lunch or whatever, and now I'm in like my grown state and I realized, oh my gosh, I still really want to be like this girl. Like I want to look like her, I want to dress like her, I want to have her life, you know. She had beautiful skin, all these things. And so my main focus every single time was like, when I get money, I want to buy all the things that she has. So I think the main thing that I worked on was rebranding myself physically first, because once I feel good, I think that I attract the type of things that I want, and I have the confidence to demand the things that I want. So one, weight loss. I was very big. I was a very big girl and I was so insecure. I had very low self-esteem, and I think that contributed a lot to just plummeting in life, you know, because when you don't value yourself, you let other people treat you otherwise. I would say that I allowed a lot of things in Joburg that I would not allow now, only because I was so desperate to feel something, to feel love, to feel companionship, to feel friendship, all of it, but only because I wasn't really secure in myself. So this one time I'd gone to visit my sister in Joburg, I saved up all the money that I went to visit her in Dubai, and I think that was my first international trip, yes. And I was so shocked. I was like, oh my God, like there's more to life, you know, there's so much more to life than just living in Joburg and trying to find a man and trying to make scraps of money, you know. And I think that's what really opened my eyes into seeing the possibilities of life. I got back to Joburg, I got on a military diet. I was obsessed with losing weight. Everyone didn't even understand. I wouldn't go out socially, I wouldn't drink, I wouldn't, you know, anything that requires me to eat outside of the house, I wouldn't do it, because I was on such a strict diet and I was so motivated to finish this diet. I really needed to get it done. The guy that I was dating at the time was treating me like absolute shit. He started to make money. Hey, go. It's a story, another story. But yo, guys, yeah, well, like when I see these things about, oh, Nje never build a man, da 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 da, yo, nobody relates to that thing more than me, because I was a started from the bottom type of girl. And let me tell you, when he starts to accomplish things, he completely turns into another person. Yes, fine, it cannot be all men, but in my personal experience, I have learned to not build a man, because he will leave you in the desert with no water. He had gotten to the point where he was making a lot of money, and I guess I just didn't fit the aesthetic anymore. And I was just, my girlfriend that was with me when I was broke, you know, I wasn't invited to the club, I wasn't invited to they would go to parties and you'd see it on his stories, and it was like, all those things actually damage your self-esteem even more, even though you're holding on for the little scraps that you get of money and this and that. But it's like you're actually losing yourself more in holding on to somebody who's treating you like nothing. You're almost affirming that you are nothing, because if they are saying that you're nothing and you're like, okay, that's fine, I'll just be here, you're almost agreeing, you know? So I think I was also just very ashamed of myself and how big I'd gotten, and just out of control, and how I just was not taking care of myself at all. My skin was crazy, my hair was crazy, my makeup was crazy, you know, like I was just like, let me go out and drink and let me just forget my problems. That was just mainly my way of dealing with my problems. When I finally decided to move to Cape Town, I had lost the weight, which helped me get a bit of confidence. But I always had this thing in Joburg where I felt like everyone can see. It sounds a bit dramatic, because I don't want to place my value on this specific relationship, but it messed with me psychologically so much that I felt like everyone can see the way this person views me. And I felt as little in a stranger's eyes as I did to the person that I was dating. Eventually I did break up with him before I left Joburg, but it's something that took years to build, which was this image that I had of myself, I think a year and a half before we officially broke up. I carried that for a long time, and I honestly believe that I'm not pretty, I'm not worth anything, I don't amount to anything, I'm not making any money. I'd lost all motivation, G. Like, well, when I moved to Joburg, I was like, I'm gonna get a salon, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But by that point, I was just like, as long as I can just make money for me to pay rent. And even that, I couldn't even afford that. I left Joburg, and then I came back to Joburg, and I stayed there a year before I moved to Cape Town. But yeah, I'd really hit rock bottom to the point where I couldn't motivate myself whatsoever. And so the main thing that I did, which was also, my breakup also was a motivation for me to go to Dubai. And then when I came back, I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to lose the weight. I lost the weight, and things just start to change, like the way men treat you, the way people take you more seriously, the places people take you. It's so important. And I'm not saying that your value is placed on weight, but the truth is that society right now and how men value women is by looks. Back then it was like I desperately needed something to bring me back and give me like confidence again. So my looks were very important, because I didn't have anything else inside of me. Like I was completely empty. But I was like, at least if I feel good, I look good, then it will somehow help me build my confidence back. And it really did. And then after weight loss, I still couldn't afford much, but then I moved to Cape Town. I think being in a city where people are so conscious about their looks. Cape Town is like super fitness motivated. Like the girlies do Pilates, the girlies do their blowouts 2 times a week. They do their nails, they do their lashes, and it's like it's just not an excuse, you know, to be like, oh, I'm so busy. Because, you know, I used to use that as such like oh yeah, I'm just busy with my job, I don't have time to do my nails, I don't have time to do my lashes, you know. But it's like, it shows. And I want to always look like a lady. The older I got, I wanted to look and feel like a lady. I didn't want to feel like a hardworking woman anymore. It made me feel very resentful and weird and angry and aggressive, you know. So I wanted to feel soft, and I wanted to feel like a woman. I prioritized making sure that every month, no matter what, you do your nails, you do your maintenance, you do your wash and your cornrows. The lashes I'm still getting into. I'm not there yet, but I try, you know. At some points, lashes were not even an option for me, because I was like, why would I do my lashes? They're like 900 rand. Why would I do that, you know? But, oh, sorry, I just scratched the mic. But yeah, now I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I can do self-care days, I can afford them, and it's like, it's such a blessing, you know. So rebranding for me was mainly focusing on really changing my appearance first. Another thing that I think contributes towards rebranding and self-worth, I guess, is knowing when to take the time off. I think I make myself so frustrated when I overly work myself. In Joburg, I'd work Monday to Sunday if I have the chance. If somebody would call me now and be like, they need makeup in 30 minutes, I'd pack my kids and go. And what I've learned with experience from being a makeup artist for so long is that anybody that's booking last minute is not prepared. So you'll get to a house call, that's free by the way, the person is taking a shower, and you'll have to sit for 45 minutes to wait for somebody to take a shower. You'll get to a hotel and they'll say, oh, I'm not there yet, please wait for me at reception. What's changed? I think being in my 30s, I care less. I think I'm no longer desperate for relationships. I'm not desperate for friendship. I'm not desperate for work relationships, work business opportunities. I think I'm just letting things flow. For example, with work, if somebody says, no, it's fine, I won't be able to do, I can't do my makeup at that time, then I'll be like, okay, what time can you do your makeup? Or if they say, this is how much we have, and I know that that's gonna break me, budget-wise, because I still have to Uber and I still have to do all these things. Before I got Nova, I would have to Uber to work, and Cape Town is like spaced out, so the money that you earning, you have to charge a call out fee, but you also can't charge full Uber price when you're driving to Stellenbosch or whatever. I would negotiate and find ways to find common ground with clients. That came from a place of being desperate to work and desperate to make money. And the more that I solidified myself and was very confident about my work and worked at just doing the best I can. So if I have a booking, I know that I get there on time, I set up, I'm professional, I do my work, I check if the client is happy. If she's not happy, I change whatever she wants, I pack, I go, seamless. That was like my everyday clockwork when it came to clients. I think that's what helped me build a name and build a brand in all of the cities, because I've never been unprofessional in any setting. And in fact, people that I'd work with that do hair would be like, yo, you too strict, you too stern, and I'm like that. I won't lie, I am. Like, don't be doing a client's makeup and you're like, oh, that's a good thing. I'd be like, when I'm working with other people, sometimes we'll collaborate. So I'll be like, hey, do you want to come and let's do, a job together? I'm like, please get off your phone. Like, these are my clients that I'm bringing you to. So you need to be a representation of me. You cannot be on your phone and doing someone's hair, curling their hair and talking about your weekend. Or they come and they offer you alcohol in a bridal suite and you're like, yeah, sure, I'll have a glass. Absolutely not. I think those things have really helped in terms of keeping professionality and help people come back to me time and time again, was that I've always kept a professional manner in all types of work relationships, unless you are now coming at me sideways and you're coming at me very, she's just a makeup artist-y. I won't do those bookings. I don't, because I'm like, I'm gonna leave that place drained and frustrated and angry, because if a person disrespects you before they've even met you, you already know what you're gonna get at that booking. So I'm like, thank you, I'm not available. No. So I'm no longer desperate for work relationships in that way, and I'm no longer desperate for friendship. I think I internalized everything that happened with friendship beefs or friendship situations. I'd always look at myself as the wrong person, because I have this bad thing that I always reference and I always think back to, and I don't know why I can't get it out of my head. But my mom, if I was like fighting with my siblings or whatever it is, she'd be like, your siblings are not getting along with you. Don't you think that you're the problem? And this thing has stuck with me. I don't know why, this specific thing. Every time that I fight with a friend or whatever it is, I immediately try and look at myself as the problem. It's also just fearing abandonment and fearing being alone, because as I mentioned, I don't have very close relationships with my family. So I think my friends were sort of what I replaced, because those are the people that I spent a lot of time with in now my adult life. I had to let go of that, because people will play with you, and girls are weird, man. I don't know, like, friends are weird, girls are weird. I don't know when people started being like this. Like, people just do weird things. If you as a friend are always showing up for your friend, if she says, okay, let's go to lunch, you come. She says, let's go to a spa, you go. If she says, let's do this, you're there, because you're friends, But then when it comes to you and you're like, let's do this, it's an excuse. Let's do that, and it's an excuse. It's like you almost see, it's okay, le friendship are you on the same level. We don't view each other the same. We don't value each other the same. Weird things like somebody wanting to be friends with you even when you can sense they don't like you. And you're like, but why not just be friends with people that you show up for, the people that you actually, because you experience one version of a friend, and then the person that they are with other people is completely different, and you're like, maybe you should just be friends with those people. Stop giving me crumbs of a friendship. I'm not that desperate for friendship, you know. Another story time insert inside the story time. The girl that I was friends with that time, the one that I broke up with last year, like every time that I think about her and I think about that friendship, I get more and more infuriated because I'm like, like the more I hear the things that she's done and said in regards to me, like it's one thing to judge my character and to say that I'm this or that. It's another thing to use things that I've told you in confidence about my family, about my relationships, to use those things as gossip with your other friends. Like, if it was ethical to beat people up, I would have beat her up because I'm so angry. Like, I'm so upset when I think about her. I'm like, this girl, like, what is it that I did to you that you hate me to that level, that you would actually use situations that I've told you in my lowest points about my family and whatever it is that I tell you, you use those things to ridicule me to other people, yet you still try to continue to be friends with me even after I broke up the friendship. Tell me that person is not sick. Tell me that person is not sick in their head. And all the other things that she did within, like, oh my gosh, it deserves a whole story time. Like, this person is actually mentally just an evil person. There's really no other way to explain it. It's just literally an evil person. To even think like she was a person that tried to rekindle this friendship after we broke up our friendship from high school. She actually pursued this friendship, and to go and say, oh my God, she's so codependent, like she's so dependent on me. You can call me a lot of things. You can call me an angry person. You can call me bossy. You can call me anything, like negative things. You can call me any negative thing. But possessive, definitely not possessive, because I don't want to keep anything around me that doesn't want to be around me. That is not my personality. That is never me. I have never been possessive. I've never been, dependent, not possessive. I've never been dependent. To say that I'm too codependent or I'm too desperate to or depend on you. What do you give me that I need that bad? What is it that you provide for me that I cannot live without? Let me not even begin to speak about the things that I've done for this person. Let me love and leave, okay? This is not what this chit chat is about, but the longer I'm not friends with her, the more I hate her. I'm no longer desperate for relationships. Let me have a sip, child. I was so obsessed after the toxic relationship that I had. I was so obsessed with finally finding the person and like proving my ex wrong. When we down and out, watch this, you know? I was so obsessed with that. But then I think when everything else started going right in my life, I was no longer focused on, I didn't even care whether he knows if I'm alive or dead or what. Like, I was just like, love and light to you, baby boo. And I think that's when you date. It's so terrible, but I wish that we accepted being single younger. Being single, as much as it's ghetto, it's so freeing. You have so much freedom. You decide everything for yourself. It's the best place to be in. When you're in a good financial situation, you decide everything, and it is so fulfilling. Like, and it's such an empowering place. Like, I wish that I had embraced being single way more in my 20s, because it's actually such a good place to be in, and you really need to just accept it and allow it. Yeah, it sucks. I wish I did. Oh, sorry about the noise. I don't know if you can hear it from the microphone, but I wish I embraced being single way more. I'm no longer desperate for relationships. If they come and, you know, people talk about these, you know, I talk about these things. I think it's people. I talk about these things on my channel, like get data, and if it's more puma out, I guess omun. You know, I'm like, because I can't kill myself. Like, I need to enjoy my life. I need to be happy. I need to be okay. I put myself first and my happiness first. Do you guys remember the situationship I was in last year, and I went to Nazna and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey, being drive like crazy, bro. But you know what I realized? Love bombing. That was the first time I experienced love bombing, because that person had actually been asking me out for like a year and some change. And then I just decided, like, I was very much in my single era. So I was like, oh, why not? Let me just see what it's about. I don't know, Valentine's Day plans. So I was just like, okay, what you talk about? And the frustrating thing is that men know exactly how to make you fall in love with them. But where men get it messed up is that manipulation only works with younger women. When you love bomb, and then all of a sudden switch to crumbs, and you think the person will stay around for the crumbs just because they keep remembering that time when you were doing the most. Yeah, understand? Yes, I would have done that if I was 25, 26, 24, 25, 26. Yeah, I definitely would have been like, no, but you don't know him like I do. You don't know him like I do. But then now, I was like, I'm not gonna be here for long. I was like, no, 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 honey, you are not about to treat me like an option. Like, after you just gave me all that princess treatment, you think you're gonna come here and be like, oh, you're not even go into detail. But like, he would just do very manipulative mind game things, and I let him know. I'm straight up like, okay, this is not the person you introduced me to. This is not the vibe that you gave me in the beginning. Yeah, I've given it some time to sort of see where it's going, and it hasn't changed. So respectfully, peace out. And he's a really nice guy, which sucks because he's actually a very chill, cool guy. But I was just like, hey, I don't need something that's gonna mess up my mind. I already have work that are messing up my mind. I have family politics that are messing up my mind. I do not need a relationship to stress me. Like, that's another thing. Like, learning your priorities when it comes to stress. Men cannot be your stress. Men cannot be your top stress in life. Jay, if anything that concerns a man, you are not a hill, you are not a mountain. Move out the way. If something is stressing you out, like, I can't believe that I used to get stressed so much that I would cry and not eat and get like so sad. So sad, so tragic. Sukuma hambe, sukuma and fuck off. Yeah, I've really I don't, the older I get, the more I don't give a fuck. If you're in your early 20s and you're a girl and you're watching my YouTube, the best advice I can give you is, this is the best time to not care about anyone's feelings. Don't care about a nigga's feelings. Don't care about, care about your friend's feelings, because your friend can be there forever, but only care about a good friend's feelings. You know, if a friend is being good to you, if they're moving weird, moving funny, leave it, because nothing is going to work out from that. But the best advice I would give younger girls, 25 and under, 26 and under, is prioritize yourself 100% during that time. Like, be very, very selfish, very almost bitch-like selfish when it comes to men, because, oh girl, be a savage. Like, be a savage, okay? You'll thank me later. Another thing that's changed, I think, is that I'm able to stand up for myself more, let people know that they can't play with me. If you choose to play with me, then I just leave, you know? There's no blow up, there's no crazy umkivano of friends where yakivana, da. I just exit, you know? That's, for me, is the easiest and most peaceful way. After I've explained how you've offended me, I've explained how I don't like certain things, and you still continue those things, that's you telling me that you don't appreciate or respect me in your life, and so I need to step out. That's also some things that I'm dealing with in therapy as well, with like conflict resolution with my siblings, you know. And I think the worst thing is that we don't address, we rather leave things as they are. So I've been practicing that a lot, and I really want to stop being so hard on myself when it comes to those things, when it comes to like overly thinking what a person thinks about you, overly thinking what a person thinks about your responses, you know. Like, I look normal, but like if I say something, then I'll be overly like, maybe she thinks I mean this, maybe she thinks, you know, all those things. And you overly work yourself, and you work your brain to exhaustion, thinking about what another person would think. And we're really trying to work through where I got those things growing up, and how to fix it, I guess, and how to no longer have such anxiety and overthinking when it comes to just normal interactions, everyday interactions. Another thing that I have been working on in terms of changing is my trauma responses. So, you know, there's so many things that I didn't understand, like why I do them. And, you know, with going into therapy, I'm able to feel a bit normal, because I've had this feeling in me where I'm like, are you crazy? I don't know if people get this. This probably sounds crazy, but sometimes I think to myself, like, what if you're crazy? Because I just feel like normal people don't think like this. Like, normal people can't think like this. You're weird. And I've really been able to allow myself to be a human being. Like, I beat myself up for everything and anything just because I'm always thriving for perfection. And perfection comes from being criticized from childhood and being overlooked. If you're growing up and there's always somebody telling you how angry they are at you and how displeased they are at you and how annoyed they are with you and all these things, you start to internalize those things, and then you feel like other people and everyone else feels like that about you, when that could not even be the case, you know. So yeah, I'm really learning to just be a better person, and to yeah, I'm just learning. I'm really just learning. I'm learning a lot. And I'm no longer scared of being alone. I'm no longer scared of failure. Well, I am scared of failure, I'm not going to lie, but it's no longer like a pending disaster, you know. I think being hyper independent and depending solely on your own income makes you so paranoid about money and about everything, you know. And if you've come from a place where you've hit rock bottom when it comes to finances, you're scared of getting broke. You never know how life will work out, but I hope and pray that it always works out. I'm not too scared of being alone anymore. Yeah, let's not go that side, child. I'm always ready to go off in my own path. I think because I've faced a lot of traumatic experiences by myself, I'm no longer like, oh my God, but what will I do? And I think that's why I've really detached from the sentimental value of having friends. I'm just like, okay, as long as I have a stable job and my income, and you're on a piece of mind and everything else that comes additional to that is a blessing. But also, if I don't have it, then I guess that's just not what God wants me to focus on right now, you know. A little advice for people in my industry. I see that there's a lot of makeup artists that are on my YouTube channel, and there's been a couple of questions and advices that there's been a couple of advices that makeup artists have asked me to give, and insights on what they should do, how they should charge, or you know what it is. When it comes to shoots, if you're trying to enter into production, it's always best to charge per hour. Productions, I find that things that are shorter, like your adverts or your music videos, will pay more than things like your TV shows, your series, things like that. So charge per hour so that people can determine how much time they need you for. Usually, a series will tell you a budget that they have. Always go a little bit above the budget, because basically they're telling you as little as possible as they can get from you, you know, as they can get your services for. So try and go a bit above that and see if there's negotiating space. Always start with you can let me know what your budget is, and then we can go from there. That's how I always used to start my conversations when I just got into production. But production is hard to get into. So if you're trying to penetrate the space and it's not happening as how you would like it to, trust me, it's not you. It is a very cliquish industry, and people only want to work with their friends. People only want to work with their industry friends and people they've been working with for years and years and years. I'm not even going to mention it. Cape Town is the worst. So yeah, you need to enter via, I would say, celebrities is how I was able to get into it this side. A lot of the celebrities that I was doing in Joburg referred me to other celebrities. So when they come here and they know there's not a lot of makeup artists this side, they ask their other celebrity friends. And so they know that, okay, there's this one makeup artist that everyone is referring, or a couple of people are referring this specific person, so she must be it. So yeah, avail yourself, but don't charge discount prices for celebrities. Charge the same amount you would charge everyone else. Treat them the same as you would treat everyone else. Don't overextend yourself just because banbani on my followers are 1 million wanted to do their makeup. No, you have to treat a normal client the same as you treat a celebrity. Yes, celebrities will get you into the production space, but let me tell you about normal clients. Normal clients are actually what make sure you have money all throughout the month. I've had wives, for example, because wives are the people that usually go to a lot of events. They have weddings to go to. They have social wife club events to go to. I would say most of my referrals have come from just the normal everyday clients, because those are people that are actually looking for makeup all the time. For example, if you're in a group, if I do one client who's in a friend group, and who did your makeup that time? This person did it. Then she'll come and say, oh, Lokunjani actually referred me to you. And I'm like, oh, nice. So now I'm in engagement party. I'm in next week. Getting into that person's wedding like 2 years ago. You understand? My engagement party is in 2 weeks. You do her engagement party. She's going to book you for her wedding. Before her wedding, 2 other girls are going to get engaged. Then you do those 2 girls. Do you understand? Friend groups work the same. Like if they're in a girl group, for example, and you're on a vacation with her man to Cape Town. She's like, oh, she does her makeup once, then she goes back to Joburg, and then her friend is going to come to Cape Town and say, I have a friend who did your makeup when you were in Cape Town. Then she'll say, actually, this girl, because really you guys are all doing the same thing. Friends, groups, social groups, they're all doing the same thing. So most of my money actually has come from referrals from just your normal everyday clients. So I didn't prioritize celebrities all over my normal clients, because those are the people that last the longest. I still have clients from when I lived in Durban that still call me when they're in Cape Town. Do you understand? When I moved from Durban, I moved to Joburg. When they'd come from Durban to Joburg, they did their makeup. And when I moved to Cape Town, still, when they came from Durban to Cape Town, they used me. So yeah, normal everyday clients are really what's more valuable, because they're going to bring you way more referrals and they're going to stick with you. They're going to stick with you for long, right? So yeah, I think I've touched on most of the topics that I want to, and I hope I didn't forget anything. Yeah, I just wanted to have this quick chit chat, but which is not so quick. But yeah, please guys, don't forget to subscribe, to like, to comment, and please watch the ads. Apparently we have to remind people to watch ads. Please watch the ads. This is my way of making an alternative income, so I really appreciate it. Just let the ad play, go to the bathroom, go and make a snack, go and have a quickie, you know, do whatever, but just let the ads play. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video. Mwah.